Right, we're live. So, Junior the Hitter Witter, I'm very familiar with your career. I watched you. I remember the name, Bradford Police Boys, and I remember you boxing a guy from Hartlepool called Ian Cooper, and a couple of guys from Middlesbrough called the Green Brothers. One of the Green Brothers, I think. I didn't really start noticing who you are till around the Zab Judah fight. So then I watched every single fight. I like everything. I watched your career. And to put it in a nutshell, if there's anyone who starts pugilism, then the accolade of the sport, right, is British, Commonwealth, European, and a world champion. But not only a world champion, out of the four, the WBC. That's the best. That's the pinnacle, in my opinion. When I start speaking with you, when people say I didn't want to fight him, there was nothing to gain. Well, hang on a minute. The fucking WBC world green belt is the best. So I don't get that. So this is what we're going to explore. So the book Junior Witter, The Avoided, is going to happen this year. Why now? Why now, Junior? I suppose you're middle-aged, you're retired, you're looking back and you're happy, I think you're getting married, you're ready to settle down. But so why did you not do a book years ago?
It was something that I've thought about a couple of times, but I've never really gone into. And when this opportunity came about, when we started talking about it, it's just one of those things that I thought, it's time, people need to know. I've met too many people who don't understand what I went through and what I've done. And I just thought, I need to shed some light on who I was and what I did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm no longer in the ring. I've got my own gym. I've got my fighters coming through. And I just thought, there's a lot of them who actually know the story and they're like, you don't get the recognition for what you did. And I went, I know. So hopefully this will shed a light on how good I was and give people insight into what I actually went through to get what I got.
Is boxing as much of a dirty business as what? I mean, listen, I box as an amateur, but I know a lot of pros. I know people who've been ripped off. Is there a lot of skullduggery? Is it as dirty world as I think?
There's definitely a dark side to it, and there's definitely a side where you think things are not fair. That result was not right. There wasn't in the amateurs. There still is in the amateurs. There is in the pros, and sometimes it's an unbelievable. Some results I've had, some results I've seen, just makes you stand there and think that I don't know why I bother.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do love the sport, and it's that love of the sport that makes you stick with it. Otherwise, it ain't fair. It's a lot. In some respects, it's a lot like life. Right place, right time. Everything's given to you. If you're not in the right place at the right time, it's not given to
you. Because in my opinion, from someone who, kind of, in the greatest respect, I'm just names, you've done everything in boxing. Bar had the massive pay-per-view fight, but that wasn't your fault because you were Floyd Mayweather's mandatory challenger. But you never had the massive fights. And then, I look at some fighters like, it was a really nice guy, Anthony Farnell. They were kind of British level, but they could sell massive things out. And, that's very sad that although maybe you might be 4 or 5 levels below world title level, you get far more noticed. Is that right?
It is. Unfortunately, if you're in the right place and you've got the right look at the right time, you come through behind the right person, you're laughing. Farnell came along with Hatton and Gomez.
Yeah.
And that whole trio was about Gomez, not Farnell, not Hatton. It was about Gomez. Gomez was the ticket seller. Gomez was the one who brought the crowd to the venue, and Hatton got all credit for it. Over the years, the crowd shifted from Gomez, and a lot of them drifted onto Hatton. But it wasn't that they were Hatton fans to start with. They were just there. They were sold as a package, and it was all realistic at the beginning. Say Patton did 100 tickets, Farnell did 200 tickets, Gomez did 400 tickets. Yeah, just on a bigger scale, and that's what it realistically was. But the whole thing, the package was put behind Hatton because he managed to maintain that winning streak. Then two lost, came back, lost, came back, and therefore he then took off on that. I'm not saying he was rubbish or anything like that, but that's really, if he wasn't around then, he wouldn't be half as big as what he is, and he wouldn't have done nowhere near what he did.
Yeah. Do you know something? Listen, we haven't even done the book plan yet, but you know, I imagine that Ricky Hatton. Listen, you're going to be tired of him forever. You know, I was talking to a guy years ago called John Gardner, British, European champion, Commonwealth. Ali's #1 mandatory, and he's done all these amazing things, but he's only known relatively known through the books, the Paul Sykes thing, because he fought a criminal. So I think it's really hard, and you know, he's linked with him, and he despises Sykes because Sykes was a bully. Gardner boxed his head off, and whether you like it or not, Ricky Hatton and Junior Witter, and the other way around, you will always be linked together. It's a bit like I've done true crime books. Lee Duffy, Viv Graham, they never ever met. Or if they did once, but they certainly never fought. But if you Google one's name, the other image will come up. That is massive. I mean, I've never spoke to you really about it yet, but listen, you never fought Ricky Hatton. You were due to fight like the British and the Commonwealth and European and even the world. You were champions together. I'm not telling you what to do because the Junior Witter story is the Junior Witter story. But mate, that you need to put some serious spin on it about, because we don't know. So we know what Ricky's told us. We know what Frank Warren's told us. But what's your side?
It's weird because it will come out in the book, but there's a lot of things that happen which people haven't got a clue on. Deals that were done and didn't happen, didn't take place. I mean, I should have boxed Ricky for the British title. Ricky never should have boxed a British title without boxing me. But the politics was done and the work was done behind the scenes to get him that shot against a Thaxton who'd been relatively inactive for 2 years. And he scraped through it.
He did scrape through it as well.
He did scrape through it. And I used to spar with John at the time, and Thacker is a brilliant guy, but if we'd have ever boxed, I'd have destroyed him because it's technical ability. And I never would box John Thaxton because he was one of my best friends. Probably. And at that time, he was ahead of me in a lot of the rankings coming through. When I walked into that gym, he was, I think, WBO and IBF Intercontinental champion, and he looked after me. And that friendship we have comes from that because he's such a good person. And so I'd have never boxed him, but if it had happened, I would have won comfortably.
I mean that's the opinion of.
Hatton, I just give it. There's so many people have been pushed out the way to make you who you became. Shots that should have gone to other people didn't happen. Mainly me. But I mean, I was going to tell my story. I would say there's things that happen that people don't know what happened behind the scenes, and they're going to get to hear it in the book.
Yeah, can I just ask you though, that's the one in Hatton. Did you ever spar with him?
No, it never would. I had people I sparred with who sparred with him, and they all told me the same thing. You'd absolutely destroy him.
Yeah, because I've had a discussion with a good friend of mine who I'm going to see next week, actually. A name up Scotland in boxing, Alex Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely gentleman. And he said, listen, I think his words were, Junior would have stood Hatton on his head. And I watched a YouTube clip of Joe Calzaghe last couple of months when I've known you were in my head. And Joe Calzaghe says, Junior Witter would have been the favourite. He's a better boxer.
Yeah, definitely.
Does it make you better? Looking back now, it's like, you know, with your pipe and your slippers. Does it make you bitter that you look back and you think,
pipe and slippers? Jeez, I'm not that old. No pipe, no slippers. I'm still running around doing very little for actual walking these days. Yeah, no, it don't make me bitter because I'm the bigger man. I'm happy with it. I mean, I've made good money. No, yeah. I've not made and not had the massive fights I should have had, but I've still had a good life, and I still enjoyed myself. And I've met some brilliant people along the way. I met some absolute snakes along the way, and I met some horrible people. But yeah, I'm happy with who I am. Yeah, I'm happy who I am. I'm happy with Mrs. So, yes, life could financially be better, like everybody's could, but I'm not in a bad place. So I take the positives from it, and
I mean, you're very switched on, Junior. You're very you can see that the lights are on. I mean, I know a lot of boxers, and all I can say is it's an extremely unforgiving sport. You know, listen, you got out very late, but you didn't take that much punishment, and you were obviously a product of that very famous Ingle gym, which they don't do head sparring. You know, so you had your Kell Brooks, your Kid Galahad, your Johnny Nelsons, your Ryan Rowe, Ishan Pickerins, Nassim Ahmed, Harold Bomber Graham. Is there a lot of stories from that part of your life that was going to go in the book? Like Naz, people want to know about Naz.
Yeah, there will definitely be some parts of my life that goes in the book from that. Some of the experiences I had to live with and get on, get through. People who taught me stuff. There's a kid called I'll tell you the book anyway. A kid from where's he from? Huddersfield, absolutely brilliant. Martin Smith. And I sparred Martin Smith. First time I sparred Martin Smith, I'd been probably in the gym over a year. And Martin Smith came in, and I'd not seen him. I didn't know who he was. He knew Johnny was, knew Naz was, so I knew a few things. So I went, all right, so he's been here before. He knows everyone, so he's not useless. And he got in, and I'm thinking, I'm all right. I know what I'm doing. I spar with Naz quite frequently. Spar with Ryan, spar with Johnny. And I got in with him, and he's put his hands on his legs like Kirkman Lang. Yeah. And I stood at him, I looked at him, and I just thought, you cheeky. Right, you're getting something. I didn't land a punch in the first round. And I tried. And I didn't land a punch on him for the first round. It just humbled me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I went, even though I've boxed amateur for 11 years, I've had probably 5 freshman fights at that time. I'm doing really well. Spar with Naz, spar with Ryan. Not bothered. Naz is world champion. Johnny's on virtual world title. Ryan's flying. So I'm sparring with some of the cream of the world here. It's not best in the world. And I can handle myself with every one of them. And I got with Martin Smith. And I just went, he just took me to school.
Really? So humiliated you?
It humbled me. It didn't humiliate me. It was just a case of, because he did it in a in a really nice way. And he wound me up, made me become obvious, which made it easier for him. And he played. And he got to the next round and started next round with him. And after that, things started changing. I got back into my rhythm. But it took me out of my rhythm. And he just showed me how easy it was to do it. And it's just like,
you've done that with a lot of fighters, didn't you?
I did for loads of people. But he showed me how easy it was still to do it if you just get someone in the right time. And he did. And then it come back and we sparred loads after, and it never happened again with anyone. But it just made me realise that no matter how good you are and what you've done before, you've got to respect the man in front of you, because he's not anybody you've boxed before. So he's going to be different.
Can I ask you, Junior? I mean, I spoke to him a couple of years back regarding the Paul Sykes book, but it wasn't too long before he went. Brenda Lingle, how much of an influence was he on your life? I know we're discussing doing the forwards now, possible names here and there, but if he'd have been still around, I think that, I mean, I've just done Alan Thompson's book, and Martin O'Neill, his old boss, done the forward, and I think I would have encouraged you to ask Brendan to do the forward for your book. What was he like? What kind of relationship did you have with him?
Brilliant relationship with Brendan. He was like a father figure. If I walked into that gym with my style and with 11 years of amateur boxing, I had plenty of experience. I'd won a national title as an amateur. So I walked in with skills, abilities, which he saw, which he liked. And then he just tweaked everything I did. He just gave me a little tweak here, a little tweak there, and just allowed me to move through the skills that he had in place and the rhythm, that the form that they had in the gym. And he let me move through that and adapt my style to his. And it was brilliant, because it wasn't one of those situations where he would come down and tell me. We went for walks every now and then, about an hour every month for me, probably every now and then. We didn't do that all the time. It wasn't like we did that all the time. We met in the gym, we chatted in the gym, we talked about boxing, we talked a little about life. Drive down to London for 3 hours. And I remember once we drove to London, there were me, him, Adnan Amar, I think it was Lee Duncan, might have been someone else. And he had us singing songs for the whole trip to London from Sheffield. I was drinking songs. And he was like, "No, we don't know any, Brent. We don't know any." Yeah. And he went, "I'll teach you."
Yeah, he was a peculiar character, brothers. Was he?
Yeah, very. You have to know how to understand Brendan and understand what he actually says. But the thing with Brendan is, sometimes he'd say something and you could interpret it a couple of ways. But when you knew him, you knew exactly what he meant. And if you didn't know him, you could, it's not quite right. I think the one at fights, he said something to me in corner. And someone else was criticizing what he was saying. But what he said was perfect sense for what I wanted, what I needed to hear. And what I did. But other people might be thinking, he didn't say that, but that's exactly what he said.
Yeah. I mean, just a quick rundown for your book. Listen, we know you're a British, Commonwealth, European, Hatton, the Floyd Mayweather fight, you were mandatory. You even had the Amir Khan fight. Yes, the skullduggery. All that is going to be in the box, and there'll be lots of highs, lots of lows. What kind of life did you have away from boxing, Junior? Because I know you're from Bradford. Were you a bit of a fighter on the streets? I know Bradford's quite rough. Is it, what kind of person were you?
It can be quite rough, I suppose. I think I stopped fighting basically when I started boxing, fighting on the street. About 11, 12, I stopped fighting on the street. I used to get involved in a little bit of trouble before then. Good few fights, but once I got into my boxing, I met my old friend Ali Callan, God rest his soul. He got me to channel my anger, my aggression into the ring, put it to something positive, and he saved me without a shadow of a doubt. There was him, there was Chris, Dave, Brian, Jeff, all of the coaches down there, and I look and I just think, without them people guiding me, I could have gone anywhere and done anything. I was stupid enough. But no, I'd had a few fights, but would get into boxing, stopped all that, stayed away from the drugs, and just got on with my life and became a better person because of it.
So, what does Junior Witter do today then? So, you're very much involved. You've got your own gym. So you're about 47 now, aren't you? So, do you consider yourself is boxing going to be your life for the next 25 years still?
Who knows? I intend to just carry on as I am for now. I've not set a date on it. I'm not set, I've got to do this in 5 years. I'm going to do that in 10 years. I'm just going to take it. I could be in boxing for the rest of my life. And I can't see anything else coming along right now that's going to just pull me away from boxing. But we never know, do we?
Teddy Atlas was on telly a couple of years back, and he said, listen, I've been boxing all my whole life, so it's the only thing I know. But if I started again, I wouldn't do it. But where's he going to go? And you now, where are you going to go? Because that's all you know. Other than being boxing, you're going to go be a bouncer or a doorman or something. But you're a very well good speaker. I'd like to do an evening with Junior Witter when we get the book. But I mean, thoughts of punditry. It's all going to open up when we do this book. If you've got any old skeletons in the closet, mate, they're going to come out. So you haven't, have you?
Not that I know.
Yeah, you'd be amazed, I mean, I was talking to one boxer a couple of years back. I'd done an evening with him, Wayne Alexander.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, right, yeah, we'll do one book. And I said, I'm not being funny, right? But I've just Googled your name and I found out you used to kick doors in Brixton for crack. And I said, that will come out. And he went, no. So I was talking to Stan Collymore recently about a book. He's had one book years ago and he's been caught with dogging, and so I'm just, you're a settled life. I mean, I have Googled you a lot. Judge Rinder, the people who you rented the house out, the cannabis.
Yeah.
So can I ask you just one last question regarding the book? Is there anything you don't want to talk about, or are you just going to be like, you know what, this is my life. I'm going to tell you the full law, X-rated the law.
Well, the thing is, I'm going to go through my life. I'm going to go through my career, and I'm just going to explain things from my side, my point of view, and the way I see things. And I'm going to tell you how I see what other people did to me and why I think they did it. And that's what it's about. It's about me just letting people know who I am, who I was in the ring, why I did what I did, why I was as controversial as I was. Yeah,
because you're aware.
And the fact is, I was brilliant at what I did, and some people do not like these people telling me, saying, I am that good, because I am that good. Not just because I say so, because of what I did and how I did it and when I did it and the hardships I had to go through to get them titles, to get them achievements in my life. 2
questions. So I watched your fight recently with the unbelievable Zab Judah. And when I say unbelievable, he was phenomenal. People only see him losing to Amir Khan at the end of his career. And listen, that guy was ridiculously good. So when you took that fight, you hadn't even fought for a British title, 9 days notice. If someone said to you, don't worry, Junior, because you're going to become a British, Commonwealth, European and WBC world champion, would you have believed him when you lost on Mike Tyson's undercard against Lou Saravisi?
Yeah. Because,
Really?
Yeah, because when I lost that night proved to me that I had it, that I had enough to win. Because I watched that judo and I just thought I could have done more. I'd not done 12 rounds before. And if you've not done 12 rounds before and you've done 8 and you're knackered, yeah, and then you think I've got to do half of that again against the best, it's daunting and it puts you off and it's complete mindfuck. So doing that and experience after I've done it, I just thought I had enough energy. I could have thrown some more shots. I could have let some bombs go, which I didn't do in that fight. I didn't let enough bombs go. And if I'd have caught him, I could have took him out. So straight after that fight, I knew I was going to be world champion. In my mind, I was 100% confident and fully believed that I would be world champion. It's just going to take me a while to get the shot. And
there was no way he was giving you a rematch, was it?
Absolutely none. And the fact is, I should have had the rematch with him for the WBO world title.
Yeah.
And they turned it down.
But you know what? I've been watching him a lot as a character these last couple of months, following his stuff. I'm actually going to reach out to him for, if that's okay with you, for his opinion of you as the style.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like his attitude. He seems a very likable guy. You know, he's from the hood. He's from Brooklyn, Mike Tyson territory, and all that. You know, but you fought a lot of people. Vicious Vivian Harris, Chop McCauley, the young lions like Frankie Gavin. You had the Amir Khan fight, it gone. So, so listen, I'm really looking forward to my last book. I sat with Alan Thompson for 20 hours, 47 minutes. So we're going to do similar. What's your memory like? Can you hear me? Yo.
It's gone.
Can you hear me?
Can't hear you.
Junior?
The volume has gone.
Has it? Right. Well, listen, I'm just gonna wrap up anyway. But listen, it's been an absolute pleasure, Junior, and I really can't wait to do your book that soon.
Absolutely nothing.
Right. I'll ring you later, Junior. Thanks for watching, guys. Can you hear me, Junior?
No.